Hey guys, today I'm going to do some 6x6 walkthrough solves. I average like 208 to 210 using Redux with free slice. If you use Yao, this will probably not be super helpful to you, but you'll still probably learn some things. Just keep in mind that your centers and last four edges are going to be slightly different. I'm not going to put scrambles on the screen or anything. There's so many moves in a 6x6 solve that doesn't really make any sense. So with that, let's just get right into the video. Okay, so on big cubes, it's best to be color neutral for your centers, at least if you use Redux. So I'm looking at every color, and first things I see is yellow, just because I've got a couple bars here. I also see blue, looks promising. So I'd honestly, I'd probably go for blue in this scenario. What I can do is I can solve this bar like that, and then I can solve this bar using this corner like that. So that gives me half the center. Next, I'd probably do my outer bar because I see these two and this one. And for your first center, I don't think it really matters too much to do outer bars first. And typically, if the outer bar is easier to do than the inner bar by like a lot, it's usually faster just to do the outer one first. And then I see I've got three of my pieces here and none of the other pieces here, which means the last one's going to be on this side, so I'm rotating this way anyway. I can pair these three up like that, which is pretty efficient. And then the last one, insert it into the bottom. And then I see green. I can do like this with these four pieces. Super easy. And then I can make a 1x2 bar for my outer bar like that. And then there's the other one. And then here, got a 1x2 bar. And then this is not the right wing, so I'm gonna look to the back and it's there. So I'm gonna pair it up with the center. It's third bar. And then here I can probably, yeah, best way to do this is to pair these two up, do a B, or a B prime, sorry. Solve those. Now here, first thing I see is white, and that's actually really lucky because I didn't see this until I rotated down, but this makes for a super easy case. And then also got this. So I've built a 2x4, super easy. And typically with 6x6 centers, they're not that easy, but 2x4 bars are really easy to build on centers and a lot faster than just doing straight 1x4 bars all of the time. So if that's not something that you've ever tried playing around with, definitely like do some untimed solves and do just centers and try and figure out like the most efficient ways to do 2x4 bars, because you'll get so many cases like that. Maybe not quite that easy, but you'll get a lot of cases like that where building a 2x4 is very fast and will save you like 4 seconds. So then I see this 1x2 and I've got a center down here, which I can pair up like that. And then this is a little bit gross, but I'd probably rotate. I'm gonna have to rotate anyway. Solve those two together, solve that one, and then insert that into the back. But I also saw this orange bar. So this is a case where like, obviously doing an outer bar first is gonna be faster than doing an inner bar because I already have an outer bar. And then this is super easy, like that. Insert that into the bottom. And then here's another case where I think I'd probably do a 2x4 because I can pair, I've already got this and I've got this, so that's two 1x2s already done for me. And then I can pair these up super easy. And then I can do these also super easy, like that. And then what I can do is pair these two up, pair this up, and then pair that up. And while I'm doing that, I'm also seeing I've got a 2x2 block here. And so I'm going to finish that. And then there you go, another 2x4, super easy. Here, you might be tempted actually to like solve this center with this, these like 3 pieces here. If you're a little bit more inexperienced, then that might be what you would want to do. But actually, I know from experience, pairing these up like that is going to be a lot faster, and that gives me my bar basically. So we can insert that and then do the comm. And then here, first one I saw was white, so I'd probably do that. You might be tempted just to flip it, but because I know I'm looking for one more edge, it's going to be faster to just insert one in its place and then reinsert this one. And I already knew it was going to be on the top. I glance, look in the back, it's not there, so I flip. And then I'm probably going to rotate here just so I'm not doing it like all with L moves. And then insert that. I saw blue and orange, so depending on what I see, I pick which one to do next. I saw this one though, and I also see this one now, so insert that. And the last edge for the orange and white is not in the middle layer or on the top, so I'm gonna flip again. I typically do white edges first just because it's what I see, and I actually made a mistake. It was in the middle, so mistakes happen sometimes. You can still be averaging 2 minutes apparently though. I also saw this block here and this edge there, and the last one is back here. And then I saw red and white, so I'd probably do those next. Flip, insert that one. You'll notice when I flipped it like this so that I had the pieces on the left, so I was inserting on the right. Next, like I said, I normally do all the white edges first, but if you see other things, definitely go for the other things. In this scenario, you could do these, but I don't see the third and fourth edges for those. I do, however, see these 3 red and blue ones, so I'm going to do those next. And I glance back here, see the last one is there, so insert that one. Now here, it would definitely make sense to do orange and green because I knew that this one was still in the middle layer, and I guess I've got that one there too, which makes it pretty easy. And I'm actually, in this case, I'm going to insert this edge because I see this one as well. So it'll make a super easy case for my next edge. And I've got my 4 edges on the bottom, so it makes look ahead a lot easier from here on. Now I'm going to finish my white edges just because I see blue next. Here I'd probably do blue and yellow because you could do it like this, but I've got these 2 done. Actually, now that I'm seeing this, okay, in a solve I probably would have done this one first just because it was the first thing I saw, or I would have gone for like orange and yellow. But now that I've seen this, this is way easier to do as the first edge. So I would take this out, and then you could insert this either way. Like I said, I was looking at the blue and yellow and also orange and yellow. Orange and yellow is probably easiest because that'll pair these up. And then here you have a couple different ways you could go about doing this. So what I would probably do is just do the orange and yellow, but I would take this out. And then when I insert this, I'm going to insert it so that this wing, or this midge, whatever you want to call it, will knock out this one. And then here, you just flip, and then you don't have parity. So pretty easy. And you just go right into doing 3x3. Notice I preserved that pair, but it's 3x3 tips, not 6x6. I'm gonna have parity here, but in this case, it's actually faster to do your soon first and then go into parity, if I don't lock up so much. And then, of course, PLL skip, which is pretty nice. So solve number 2. First thing I see is orange, and this is probably actually the best thing because I've got this 1x2 here, so I can pair it up with this with one move, and then I've also got this one here, and that'll give me a really easy center 2x4, which, like I said, 2x4s are super fast, and my last pieces are here. And you might be tempted just to solve these 1x2s first, but it's actually fastest if you take this out before you do those, because if not, you're going to end up doing like a bunch of slice moves afterwards. So pair these up, and then insert that one. Now here I saw this one, and these two will make my outer bar. And then this isn't great, but you could do it like that. And then to go straight into red, first thing I saw was this 1x2 and this center. And then I can pair that up. This is kind of a funky pattern here on the top, but yeah, I don't know what I would do with this. There's probably a really fast way to like, actually, yeah. If I take this wing, or not wing, but this oblique, you can pair these up, and then I can pair these up like that. I don't know, well, okay, I definitely wouldn't have seen that in a solve because all of the obliques that I was looking at weren't the right one to do that for. But if you saw the other ones, that would be a pretty fast way to do that. And then I also knew from before that these two were paired up, these two centers, so I'm gonna pair these obliques up, insert the bar, and then pretty easy last bar there. Now I'm looking at this and I saw yellow first, so I probably do that, but green's also not bad. I'm gonna go ahead and do yellow just because it's the first thing I saw. But yeah, like I said, green wasn't terrible. Okay, so what I would do is just that. There are a couple of different ways you could have gone about making that center 2x4, but I think that one works fine. And then here, this is pretty easy for that bar. Had a brain fart for a second there. And then you can solve that. Blue's gonna be on this side. Nothing really good for blue, so I might go ahead and do green instead, actually, like that. And then this is not the right 1x2 to go there, obviously. So I would have to solve this one instead. Insert that into the top. Now here is another case where doing the outer bar first is probably the fastest because I've already got 3 solved, like that. And then you can do slice moves to solve this, insert it. Now here blue is super fast because you pair these up like that, and then pair it up like that. There's so many different ways you could have made that 2x4 because there are so many blocks, but I feel like that works pretty well. Now here, I feel like there's an easy way to do this, but I don't know what it is. So I'm just gonna go ahead, solve this center with this block here, and then I can pair it up with the oblique. And this is a nasty case for the last bar. You're gonna have to do a comm, so as long as you keep like the move count fairly low to solve that, it shouldn't be too bad, but it's like one of the worst cases you can get. First thing I saw was the blue and white, and also orange and white. I'd probably do orange and white because I also saw this one. I don't know how I didn't see that, but I'm just gonna go ahead and do orange and white because it's the first thing I saw. And then here I might actually, this is a strange case because I saw those 3 blue ones, so I might not actually finish this edge. I might go ahead, do blue, flip over, because I knew I was gonna have to flip anyway, because at that point I'd seen all the other edges. So I can insert blue, go ahead and then I can do orange. And that's like pretty good for look ahead. I also saw in that process all of these green edges, so I'd go ahead and do those next. And then I know I saw this white and red edge and all the other ones are here on the bottom. So go ahead and do that. The last one is there. And then in this case, first thing I saw was red and blue. So of course I'm gonna go ahead and do those. That's super easy. And then blue and yellow was the next one I saw. That's not super great. So I'm gonna flip, rotate to insert that one. And then here, this is also not great, but you could do that. And I actually don't mind taking that out, doing L moves. I'm pretty ambidextrous on big cubes, if you haven't noticed in this solve yet. So then here I'd probably do orange and yellow just because it was the only thing I was really seeing multiple pieces of. I'm gonna have to take that edge out anyway. But I did see this, the green and red, which is nice. So gonna go ahead, take that edge out, rotate and flip this one. I've got 4 on this layer. Oh, I had 4 on that layer too, okay. So that was bad look ahead on my part. But that does make going into my last 4 edges a lot easier. So if you do something like that, where it's like you accidentally solve 1 extra edge, chances are it just makes look ahead into your last 4 edges easier because you already know where all these pieces are gonna end up. So you can take that out, solve that. Now I see these, and this one's back here, so I'm just gonna flip. And then here, this is disgusting. Okay, I actually don't know all of the last 2 edges cases, so this is gonna be bad. I don't know this one either, so I'm just gonna take it, flip it, cancel into parity. I don't think you need to know all of the last 2 edges cases to be sub 2, because I'm pretty close to sub 2 at this point, and I only know like 3 of them, so. Go ahead, do 3x3. On big cubes, it's typically better to stick to using R, U, and F, and I find D moves to be pretty awkward. In this case, I wouldn't rotate to do this, just because I'd have to like do a Y2 or something like that. But it's typically best to stick to using R and U because it's so cumbersome to like swap hands on big cube solves. I do parity so that I'll get a line case, because I find that there aren't as many bad line cases as there are L cases, so. And then do your OLL, which was bad, and then an H perm with M slices because I'm a god. So that's it for this video. I might have done a couple funky things in those solves, but it's 6x6. It's a funky event. If you found this video helpful, make sure to leave it a thumbs up. If you have any questions, you can leave them in the comments down below. And make sure you subscribe so you'll be notified of future videos when those come out. As always, keep on solving.